Morning, everybody. Oh, well, welcome back, everybody, to the Success is Complicated podcast. I'm your host, Raquel.
And I am your co-host, Sierra.
And we have a guest today. I'm not really good with introductions, so I'm going to let Jackie start off with just introducing herself, just telling us a little bit about you, and then I'll give my spin on it.
Okay.
Okay.
So my name is Jacqueline Davis. I'm the owner of JFit LLC in Pearland, Texas. I graduated from Texas State University with a degree in exercise sports science and pre-physical therapy.
Okay, so I met Jackie because she started training me back in 2019. And I want to put this out there. I did not follow her plan. We did not meet because I was supposed to lose any weight. Let me just say that because I don't want to.
But she did lose 20 pounds. Don't let her play.
And I gained 30 back because for what we're going to talk about today, I needed to grow in some other areas.
Uh-huh.
But I met, so I remember when I came into the gym, I didn't first choose to work with you.
Right.
Because I made a judgment. I was like, she looked a little mean. I did. So I decided to work with this girl that I didn't even really like the way her body looked. But clearly I wasn't trying to focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
The girl left for something. And then they was like, well, we have her for you. And I was like, Lord. So we ended up, seriously, that's how I ended up working with her. I didn't choose to work with Jackie.
That's true.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, ever since then, I ain't lost no weight. But not because of Jackie. Not because of Jackie.
You have to be a willing participant.
Right. After a while, I just came there for the conversations. Like, I was in a very interesting point in my life.
Yes.
I vented. Like, when I tell you, like, the story, the victimhood that I talk about that I don't like to hear, that's how I probably sounded to Jackie. I was complaining about my job every single day. The people, like Jackie know everybody that worked there.
Yeah.
Because I talked about everybody.
Yeah.
So, but Jackie she's younger than the both of us. But there was something about Jackie's spirit that drew Jackie to me. Now, I'm going to ask Jackie this. Jackie, did you know that I was, like, spiritually lost when you,
Yeah.
you did?
Uh-huh.
How did you know?
Just from conversation. Like, I think you was very intelligent, but your faith could have been worked on a little more.
Say a little bit more.
I mean, I'm honestly, because I don't like to judge people. And like,
No, it's okay.
So I would listen to Quill and I would understand what she was saying, but I'm like, for everything she has accomplished, it would seem as though her faith and the things that she knows she can do moving forward would be much greater than the conversation we were having, right? Like the complaining and the people. And it's like, people will do people anyway. People gonna be people anyway, So, from her accomplishments, I was like, but she should know that. Like, she should be able to understand that you give grace, you show love and compassion, but then I can only control myself and stay centered regardless of what's going on behind me or around me, right? And so
I'm glad you said that because easier said than done.
correct.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about it because I don't think that I'm a judgmental person, but I feel like the people that I get an opportunity to work with, or even just like the post that you did yesterday, and I'm not going to touch it today, but I just thought it was so beautiful.
Oh,
You saw it was so, I'm telling you, it was so good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that people, when we talk about personal transformation, there's not a lot of talk about spiritual growth. And Jackie was going through, I'm not going to say she was going through a difficult time, but she was going through something at the time that I was like, damn, I actually asked her, I was like, why do you seem okay?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you just, like, you want to talk about it?
Like, are you really okay? Like, every time she walked in the session, I'm like, are we here to train or talk about me?
Both. Really not.
Are you sure? I'm like, yeah.
I was like, and I remember asking, I was like, Jackie, how are you so, like, calm with life taking that turn? And Jackie I always felt like she was careful with her words. 'Cause I'm going to be honest, I ain't want to hear nothing that a black church had to say, no pastor had to say, and I definitely didn't want to hear about no day of Jesus Christ. I'm just being totally honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
And like I
That's
would
true.
come, I remember she would never like say like, oh, Quill, come to church with me or something. Like it naturally happened. I would come in and be like, Jackie, I seen this scripture.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean to you? And then she would just this is what it means to me, Quill. And then we would like have conversations because we've all,
Mhm.
well, I think that we've evolved to that, like having
For sure.
life conversations. We have really, really good conversations. So I wanted to talk about today, like spiritual growth, because when we talk about like inner peace, I think that a lot of people do a lot of things to distract themselves. First, I'm going to say, like, you know, life is always about being a teacher and a student.
Mhm.
Like, and if I had a one made the judgment that Jackie was like, she's this mean person, I would have missed out on like being able to connect with such a beautiful soul. And then the other thing you could get caught up on thinking like, you know, Jackie didn't have kids or anything. Like our lives was so much different.
Mhm.
So how could she possibly understand me? And she's younger.
Mhm.
Never let that get in the way of us being able to connect, which means that we were both able to just see each other.
Yep.
So I want to talk about like spiritual growth, like, and maybe see, because you did your little post yesterday, and to
Yeah.
me that was a reflection of spiritual growth. Like, what does it mean to spiritually grow, even if, because this is not about religion. And I say that because Jackie, the way that she has these conversations with you, like, it don't feel real religious, because if it did, I would have ran, because that's not what I was ready for. In fact, I was like, no, I'm going to go to this white church because I need to hear the message delivered differently. You remember I was
Yep.
telling you all of those things,
Mhm.
but I was in a season where I really wanted to like figure out how to take the intelligence that you said that I have and like put it into something. So see, what is spiritual growth? And we all can kind of talk about it from our own standpoint.
So very, I would say interesting question, but I guess normal question, right?
Mhm.
Spiritual growth to me is actually believing and relying on Jesus, God, and believing that those words are true, and actually living it out, and not leaning on your own understanding.
Okay.
And I mean, and that is a process within itself, because, you know, from a very young age, we were all, well, I don't know if we were all, but, you know, from a very young age, I definitely was told a lot of those things, like, you know, put God first, seek ye first, and then all things will follow.
Mhm.
And
Y'all ain't about to pull out all them scriptures, because I don't know a lot.
No. That,
We're not.
Jackie,
No.
like,
We're
when
not.
you started
No, we're
when you
not.
said that scripture, I don't know a whole lot.
But I did.
I got about 2-3 of them that I remember to keep me grounded. Cause she be reciting them too.
But you know, you're told all those things, but to truly walk in it, it truly takes the like life happening for you to like show true, right? And you go through a season and you're like, ooh, I mean, why does it feel so rough? Why does it feel so tough? And then you realize, where is God in all of this? And you just barely praying. You just barely. So spiritual growth to me is really walking the talk.
All right, Jackie.
Actually, see, really hit. Yeah, hit it
No,
on
we
the
want to
nail.
hear what you.
No, but honestly, if I had to piggyback off of her, I do think seeking him first in all things that we do, number one, and also keeping our faith. I think that all of us get discouraged, right? We go through life, we get discouraged, and we feel like where is he? But he's always there.
Right.
It may not be our own understanding; is only his understanding first, right? And I think if we always understand like this is always a lesson or a blessing, no matter what we're going through or what stage we're in, then we'll realize this other side is going to be beautiful because it was meant to be anyway. Right, despite what's going on around us, and he already has a plan written, and I think that's what we don't like, right? Because people get anxiety, people get uncomfortable, people feel like, well, I'm not understanding. It's not for us to always understand. It's for him to lead us, and we follow, despite questioning what he already has planned for us, regardless. So I would say growth is no matter what stage you're in, knowing that my faith and my belief in him is going to carry me despite everything that's going on around me.
So, listening to. So one of that I think about like all of the clients that I get an opportunity to work with, and each person is like on a different journey, right? But I would say, so yes, I agree, and no, I agree. And I'm gonna tell you what the no part is, because when you start working with like so I think it's to seek a higher power, right? But the truth is, not all of us are Christian
Are believers.
or believers, right? And to know that I've been able to support people that are not necessarily believers kind of makes me. That's why I say, like, what is spiritual growth? So I say that from that standpoint, because what if people are not like ready to walk that walk, or they're Muslim or Hindu or any of those things? Like, no matter what religion you attach yourself to, like it's important to believe in something greater than yourself. And because if I think about, if I was attached to like Christianity, there's no way that I could work with the people that I work with. Now, Jackie has, like I said, you still have, I think that you could do the exact same thing, because the spiritual aspect comes out without her ever even talking about like Jesus or God. But I still say easier said than done, right? Because one of the things like growing up that used to get on my nerves, like when shit get hard, people be like, pray about it. You better talk to God first. Like, and I just don't think that it's that easy. And I was thinking about even today, like when I look at like people struggling with the same things, judgment does creep in, because I'm like, God damn, like, you need to grow. You need to talk to God. You need to seek God. But that is like, that doesn't, it doesn't, it's easy to tell somebody to seek God, but like, what does that even look like?
But I think it's really like your core belief system. Like, revisit that and see if that is aligned with whoever your God is.
But I think that, I don't care, like, so when I think about like this person that comes to my mind that had told me that they were thinking about committing suicide, totally different religion. Baby, I didn't have nothing for them. I said, when was the last time you prayed? I didn't have any words, but when you talk about the beliefs that people have that disconnects them from that spiritual part, like, what are those beliefs? Because a lot of us don't even know like what they are.
That's good, Quill.
And that's the hard part, because, you know, because Jackie, the few things I talk about healing, she knows like my views on healing, this whole protect your peace and all of those different things. Like, to me, those are beliefs that pull you away from like spiritual growth too. Like, when I, for example, when I hear people like protect your peace, I don't know what that means, because you remember that's where I was.
Yeah, you were.
It was still so much turmoil there, like so much turmoil and like certain situations that I wasn't willing to walk in. And then when I think about like how everything has transpired, like I just had to let go. But protect your peace. I guess I'm curious to hear, like, Jackie, when you hear like, because you remember when I used to say it, and I think all of us say it, like protect your peace. But like, what does it do to a person subconsciously and the connection from a spiritual standpoint?
I think it doesn't let you visit hard places, right? Things that could make you want to grow further. It helps you be comfortable in that space, right? So when people say protect your peace, it's more like, I don't want any headache, I don't want any heartache, I don't want to deal with any troubles. That's what I see on the internet for the most part, right? Protecting my peace. But then God's like, I'm gonna give you all that and more. And then after that, how do you move forward though? Because protecting us does what? Because growth isn't being uncomfortable,
right?
No matter what. So if you're protecting those aspects, how do you know if you're really truly growing though? Honestly, so.
What you think, C?
I guess you already know how I feel about protection and boundaries and all that other stuff. Like, you know, it doesn't allow you to be stretched.
What's another one I'm trying to think of? Because I know that I say the boundaries too, and I know that fall along the lines of protect your peace, but like, some people be having so many boundaries. Like, some people have so many boundaries that you can't even let God in them. Like, and I'm for real, it is no even space. Like, they blocking him out too. They be strong.
Well, I mean, that's what boundaries do. That's what boundaries do.
I'm for real. They be blocking everything. Like, all right, I mean, I get it, right? Because I do understand like trauma and the mental illnesses. I understand that aspect, but when we talk about growth, you cannot leave the spiritual aspect out. And I think that a lot of times when I see a lot of people, that component is always missed. And then when you see people like going to therapy or like, actually this girl that I was talking to this week, she was, I done had a few therapists at this point. And I was like, because it's probably not what you're looking for at this point. A lot of the times we don't know that we're looking for that spiritual component.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, it's probably not what you're looking for at all. You look like you would get ready to say something. See,
I guess I was wanting to know, like, from Jackie, like, when on your road to like spiritual growth, like, what is it that like keeps you grounded?
Baby, it's
like,
inner.
what are?
Yeah, honestly,
I mean, it is inner, but like, tell the people because they want to know, like, what inner stuff do they need to build?
I mean, I would say first, let's first God, of course, no matter what, but family. Like when we started, like my family was it. They had us in church, right? That was our base. I honestly didn't know any other way, and so since I was like a newborn, 2, 3, 4, I was in church. My mom's a PK, my grandfather's a pastor, so I think that was already instilled in us. And so when people always say how, I'm like, I've never known any other way but. Mm-hmm. And so, and then also through life circumstances, I've learned to learn him for myself and not just what they've taught me as well. Yeah. And so I would say just knowing that everything's going to be okay no matter what. And that's what I really stand by. No matter what's in front of us, no matter what's going on, like everything's going to be all right. It all works out for our good.
Right.
And that's what keeps me like grounded, like whether it's in business, whether it's with partnerships, friendships, like everything happens for a reason. And though we may not understand or see it, it's going to all work out because he wouldn't allow you to fall and not pick you up and let you in where you feel it, no matter what.
Okay.
So.
Go ahead.
See.
So you just said, like, it's all working to our good, right? Mm-hmm. But it's so easy to be in the midst of the bad. Mm-hmm. And, you really don't see any of the good. I mean, is it just like it's all working for our good? Go back to that scripture. Like,
people don't really believe that, though. Even if you take scripture out of it, though, like everything happens for a reason.
But that's why you
will find so many people like they say that, but a lot of people really do not believe that whatsoever. And I think about that foundational principle that we were introduced to when we started the coaching program. You cannot make a mistake. Do you? I remember when they first introduced that, I was like, that's some bullshit. I was like, absolutely not. It took me 3 years to wrap my mind around you cannot make a mistake.
Who said that?
It wasn't, I don't know. I don't even know if they quoted like this, but the owner of the school, I think the foundation of the coaching program was very spiritual, which made me like, okay, where's the religious aspect for me? Because I think around the time that I met you, I was becoming a certified coach. Like, I remember, I think I was telling you about some of the stuff that I was doing, but it was like, you cannot make a mistake. And I remember one of the lead trainers said to me, like, if that does not resonate, it's okay. But I know at the time, for me, I was like, I done did some things. Like, you messed up terribly. Like, how do you come back from this? Mm-hmm. And when we talk about the spiritual aspect of it, you cannot make a mistake is so powerful to me because it means that you can start to see yourself the way that God sees you. Mm-hmm. So if I'm not like criticizing all of my mistakes and allowing myself to be human and go through the process, then it started opening up my world to other people's mistakes and flaws too. I'm like, all right, we're all out here kind of, it looks differently,
imperfect,
right?
But perfect.
Right. And that, for me, that was a game changer for me. And then it was like, okay, where's the scripture to support that? Now, y'all can give me this. I mean, all I got is you are wonderfully and fearfully made. Like, and when I hear like you cannot make a mistake, it's the wonderful aspect. Every piece of you is wonderful. And when I talk about like, because the last episode we talked about like my most challenging, we talked about difficult conversations, right? Like in marriage. And I said 2021 was like the first hard conversation. I've been married for almost 10 years, and 2021 was the hardest conversation I've ever had in my marriage. But in order to get there, I had to really accept like all of Quail. Accept Quail in the way that God accepts me. And when I really started to accept you cannot make a mistake,
then that's all she wrote.
that's all she wrote. That's all she wrote. Like, I'm not looking for anybody to see me anymore because I see myself, like, I see myself the way that God sees me. And you cannot tell me anything about me that deflects from that based off of mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one that I have personally, like, accepted. Like, you cannot make a mistake.
So what are some other beliefs that you have, Jackie?
Beliefs as far as like with people
That are grounded, that like ground you in.
That's, we really, a lot of times we don't know what it is because it's just like a way
It's
of
so
being.
natural,
It's
right.
so natural. It's like
Right.
your way of being.
But throughout this conversation, I guess that's what I hear, right? These are beliefs that we have that are driving our lives and how we show up.
I actually have a verse right here. It's one of my favorites, Proverbs 31, and it's she's clothed in strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future, which is exactly what we were just talking about, right? No matter what is going on, you still have dignity and integrity and morals and character that allows us to show up as who we are despite what's going on around us or how people treat us, right? And without laughing without fear of the future means the future is going to happen no matter what.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to happen no matter what. So knowing that I don't have to fear anything because he already has a plan written out, but more so because I trust in him. It's really about trust more than anything. Because like Quote was saying, everyone's belief system is so different, but we all more than likely trust in something, whether it's him or not.
Right,
we all
right.
believe in something, right? And so for me, it's knowing that whatever the future may hold, whatever
I
may
got a
happen-
belief that Jackie had. When I met Jackie, she
gosh.
would not train men.
Oh,
Like, I mean, it's she would not train men. That's a simple one, but she's really good. Like,
but that has changed.
all the
you
men
guys.
think that she's tough too. Like, she be getting on their nerves. But that's what I'm saying. It's true. That's a belief. Like, when we think about, like, okay, I will not train men, and I don't know, like, and I use it because it's simple, it's small, right? It's like, why did you have that belief that I will not train men, and what has opened you up to be like, okay, she's selective with her clients anyway,
Yeah.
but like, what was the shift?
Well, the shift was my environment, to be honest with you. It was my environment. And I would not say the name, but I was working in a corporate setting. I don't think we had choice, right? It was more like if a man would see you in the gym and they want to work with you, it wasn't always about work, right? It was more of a sexual situation, even if that makes sense, right? Not to get too deep, but it was, right? And so I don't want you looking at me while I'm training you. I want to train you for my knowledge and understanding, not for you to be lusting, right? And so it was more like, how about I help y'all out too? How about I'm not training any of y'all? Right?
I don't train men at all.
So we could just keep it simple, right? Because, if I could pick and choose in that setting, I would know that not all men are the same. So I would not even say that, right? But in that setting, because it was more like, you take whoever we give you, let me help you out. No, I'm not taking any of them. So then I don't have a choice or not a choice, right? And then when I open my own business, when I learn who you are as a person and your motive, I'm more like, okay, he's here for business because he really knows that I have something I can give back and inspire him, and not just because we're over here.
They want to look at your butt.
You know?
Because she
Sweet
gonna work.
Whisper sweet nothings, okay? Texting my phone about stuff that does not matter. Yeah. So that's because I feel like I didn't have a choice. And I think that the men in that environment didn't understand like what was really happening, and not so much of just a training standpoint. It was more like, baby, I'm trying to be in your face for 30 minutes. And I don't want to be in yours. So. Yeah, but that has changed. I have about I think 5 male clients now.
Okay. I'm happy to hear that, because anybody can benefit from, like with Jackie, I feel like you get You get the physical component for sure, but depending on like the relationship, there's like that spiritual or that mental component as well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Quill.
You know I love you.
I love you too, friend.
So I kind of shifted because that did come when I first met you. I didn't understand why. I'm be honest, knowing like what her spirit was, I didn't understand why she wouldn't train me in, because in my mind, like, God got you and you can't stop them people from looking at all that ass. Like, people gonna do it. They just gonna look. I mean, sometimes I look. I'm like, God, like Jackie, like build me one. Like, can you build me one? Like, to me, I thought it was human. So when she would tell me she wouldn't train, I was like, well, they don't need you to train them. Like, they can just come in the gym and look at you.
You did say that.
That's why
I mean,
they looking anyway. You might as well get paid for it. That's where I was.
That was Quill.
Yep. In all of my mess, I was still gonna be Quill. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things that. Another thing you said was, even though you said that this was foundational for you, right? Because I ain't foundational. Like, we all have a foundation, right? That camera cut off. No. It didn't black.
It's on you right now.
Huh?
Still rolling though.
It's still rolling. Okay, then. That's right.
I'm gonna chop that.
Okay. You said that you got to know God for yourself. What got you to the place to where you're like, all right, I know all of the stuff that they taught me, but like, how do you really apply it? And I think that that's the piece. Like, I think that we all have like this walk to where we're like, I need to know this, understand this for myself, because everybody has a different reason for getting to know God or growing spiritually. Like, what was that turning moment where you were like, all right, I hear what my mom and my daddy saying, I hear what my granddaddy said, but like, I need to know for myself.
Yeah, because when you grow and you learn, they can't always hold your hand, right? And so I have to be able to know, like, despite even what they're telling me, doesn't mean they're wrong or right either. What does he say at the end of the day? And I can call on them for anything, and they'll, give me spiritual advice as well. But when you're going through something, maybe you don't feel like talking to people all the time about what you think and how you think. Let me talk to God for myself and see.
Girl, she real good with that, because I was trying to pull her business out of. I'm like, how you feel?
Yeah.
Have you thought about this? Have you? And she be like, I mean, I'm good. 5 more. This girl ain't got no personality. That's what I was thinking, for real. This girl ain't got no personality.
she was talking to God.
She would miss the whole session trying to talk about something. I'm like, no, do the 5 push-ups so we can move
Girl,
on.
I don't like push-ups though. Like, I mean, then I go to her Instagram. Like, I really was doing this behind the scenes. I go to her Instagram. I'm like, this girl is not talking.
That's me to this day. Actually.
And I realized that is like you. And I need to talk to somebody. I'm gonna talk to God too, but I like to talk to people too.
You won't know much unless I tell you anything. Get these scriptures in this gym.
Nothing.
But I think it's the heart of it.
How you be talking to God?
like God.
Like how I be talking to you?
Yeah.
Like how I would talk to you all the
conversation.
You do?
Yeah. Because he understands this.
I would love to be a fly on the wall.
He understands and he hears us regardless. I have to be,
baby, she gives you nothing. Do you hear me? Do you know the little piece that I did get? Do you know girl, I worked to get that.
She sure did.
I did. And then I tell you how much she gave me. She was like, well, I'm not saying that it's easy. And I think I left her alone after that. She said, Quay, I'm not saying that it's easy, but I basically she said I trust my life script. And then we talk about that too. And that I was kind of like, okay. And then I think I left it alone after that.
I think you did too.
Yeah. I think
after like 10 sessions.
Because I was trying to understand. And I think that that's very different too, right? Like, because I think it's easy to judge, right? Like, I'm the person that I'm gonna go talk to Jackie about 15 times, probably about the same thing, and then I'll go to Sierra. What you think? And in the process, I go to God too, but I like to hear all of it. And what Jackie is saying is, I listen to one person.
Yeah.
Mhm.
One person.
And the thing about it is you can have friends and family that can inspire and help, but some people do talk from their own experience too.
For sure.
So you have to know, is this something that God's telling them to say, or is it something that they've been through that they're trying to tell me how they will react in the situation? But that doesn't help your own life,
Right.
right? And so
That
they
is
can give
so
you,
powerful.
They can give you sound information, and they can be like, okay, I understand, but you take that and you still answer to only one person, right? Like my parents, they're very knowledgeable, my brothers, sisters, but at the end of the day, I only have one person to answer to. I respect them and I honor them. but-
Say that one more time.
Yeah, you
Say
only
that
have
one more
person
time.
to answer to at the end of the day, right? No one can tell you about your life, right? Except for who you probably believe in, right? And so, family,
That
not
is
family,
so
friends.
powerful
Yeah.
because I know how you feel about your mama and your daddy.
Oh,
So
yeah, I
for
love
me to
them.
hear her say that, like, I respect what they have to say, but I understand that they too have their own experiences.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this over here really keeps me grounded. So it kind of silences like a lot of the noise for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Drops the mic. He's done.
I like to hear other people. I like to hear what everybody is saying.
And I think that, I mean, God does bless us with connections like
Right,
like you and
right.
Sierra, and she can definitely, we all want a listening ear. Like, so
Right,
I'm not
right.
saying that, but I think at the end of the day, it's still about your journey.
Do you
right?
talk to other
So-
people though? I mean, you got your
Um,
core college friends that.
Yeah, I
You,
talk to other
okay.
people.
You talk. To
I mean,
people.
not about a lot of stuff, but yeah. I talk to other people, but I'm still like, okay, I hear you. I understand.
Okay. Yeah.
I get it. Or just to make sure, like, am I tripping? You know, that type of vibe. But then I'm like,
Mhm.
no, I'm not, because God said I wasn't. So we're good. But yeah, I talk to other people. Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to have relationships. That's what we should be built on, relationships and love and all of those things. But you still have to know that this is still my life, and at the end of the day,
For people who don't know how to start having, because also when you say that I talk to God, right? Like it's conversation with self, right? Like how do you even start to have a conversation?
just how you talk to C, or just how you guys may talk to anyone that you're in friendship with, relationship with. I would say just like that. He's not here to judge us about anything. God, I have a problem with blah blah blah. Or God, I'm feeling anxious about this. Or God, I'm feeling fearful about this. He hears you just as you are. You don't have to come with a script. You don't have to come with, these extra words that you don't even know how to say yourself. It's okay. Like, he understands you, like a normal conversation that we're having now.
Right.
God, I'm having problems with, show me the way with my job. Show me the way with, and it's simple as that, honestly. It doesn't have to be profound. the
What
way
do
we
you
may
think stops people from hearing like that voice?
Because they feel like their way is right. That's why. And also we don't like to be hurt. We don't like pain, and we don't like any of that, right?
I say that stop trying to heal yourself and being human all the time.
Exactly.
Now. Like I mean, I really really
Yeah.
get that because I wouldn't undo like everything that has gotten me up to this point. And I'm grateful for all of the people that have like just listened because I think you've seen me through a few different seasons. The crying.
Mhm.
I mean, I think I bring humor to everything because I'm
do.
more, I feel like I'm real. Like this is just what it is. I mean, I'll keep pushing, but I think it's one thing to keep pushing, and it's another thing to sit in your stuff.
Mhm.
Like it's just it's another thing to like really sit in your stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody like connected to God right now. It's getting quiet. And
Some deep stuff.
Right, it is.
But life is deep, right? Like it can be.
can be.
It can be.
Do you believe that life is hard?
I think life can be hard. You have situations that can be hard.
Can be hard or feel hard?
Feel hard.
Feel hard.
Mm-hmm.
What you? I mean, I know we
Feel
kind of
hard.
talked about it a little bit. What you
It can feel hard.
can feel hard?
hmm
What's the scripture for that?
Oh, I don't know.
And we
Don't
gonna
be
back-
anxious about anything.
There we go.
Uh-uh,
we
you got to
go.
get your own. She be knowing a lot too.
No, but that's very true.
Right.
But we said it earlier too, like be anxious about nothing, and also knowing that despite everything, like it all is gonna work out in our favor. Like God is, he favor is not fair. So even if we're undeserving, We could look at something like,
Girl,
how many
I know that.
you know, even if we're undeserving, he's like, but I still see you and I know your heart. That's what people don't understand. Is I think we look at people and their physicality or, you know, things they've been through, but he's like the heart of a man. Despite what you've probably done that looks crazy to other people, how is your heart?
Talk about the heart, right? Because go ahead, C was going to say something. Go ahead.
Well, I guess I had a thought about like that undeserving part.
Mhm.
I think, is that like a real human thing to say? Like that we're undeserving? Because I don't know if God ever sees us as undeserving.
Well, not
Like-
in society terms, probably. That's what I'm saying. But
Right,
to
right.
him, we deserve all, which is why he'll still bless us despite our mistakes
Right.
or things
right.
we've been through. But in the norms of the world, it may seem like, how does this person getting here from what they've done in this situation? That means to them they probably weren't deserving of what they feel like we should have. But God feels like we didn't have anything we want because of our heart, despite our actions and what we've been through or whatever sins we may have done.
Right.
So yeah.
And I know, like I seen this post where someone was saying like from one undeserving human to another, and I was like, if we continue to see ourselves like that, like what could that cause? Like, if you see yourself as undeserving, then how does the world? How is the world seeing you?
Yeah.
But God sees you as perfect.
That's perfect.
She
Yeah.
said, the 3 Black women here, right? That's not exempt from some of the pains that all Black Americans feel, like when you see the tragedies.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, like, God's favor is not always fair. Because, when I say, like, I want to grow on all aspects. Like, I want to grow as a woman. I want to grow as a Black woman. I want to grow as a mom, as a wife. Like, all these things, like, holistically, right? And I think I did it on that last post. I was like, I don't want to keep feeling like every time, like, injustices happen and it doesn't go the way that I think it should go because, you're not a good person. Like, this should happen. And I think you and I have actually talked about this in the session because I was like, Jackie, whenever I always go back to Jackie and be like, Jackie, when you see, for example, I asked, when you see the injustices, like, what are your thoughts? I don't remember what you said, but just going back to, like, favor ain't always fair. That's the other thing, too. Like, when you talk about, like, what does it mean to grow as a Black person? It's understand you don't know what anybody's relationship is with God. Like, everybody really has, like, their own walk. And when God chooses to have favor, it is not in your hands anymore. And I think that the response within the Black community, or any community, because it's not even just Black people that are fighting for, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Liberation
or whatever. But, mental liberation is something that I feel like we choose. And it's so easy to get caught up in the noise. Like, God shows favor to murderers, people that rape, like, and it sounds like crazy to, like, and then let me go back and say this. We don't know what other people are dealing with, like, in that process, but it just goes to show you, like, how powerful he is because you don't get the last say. Like, you don't get to determine anybody's fate.
Well, but he also said that goes without sin throw the first stone, right? Which means we all need to probably hush and sit back, right? Because we all have sinned in whatever degree it may be. And he's basically saying, if I can help you in this situation, I can help anybody. If I can help you, even if it may seem small to you, I can show grace and favor to anybody. And that's what grace and mercy is for, right? Like, if you feel like, okay, I've done nothing wrong ever, you can throw that stone. Most of us, we can't throw a stone because we all have sin, regardless of the degree of what we feel like a murderer versus child molester versus someone who stole from the candy store. I don't know. But all sin is the same in his eyes regardless. So who are we to feel like you don't deserve favor and grace and mercy?
That's been game-changing for me.
Because I haven't done what you've done. But I've done other things that wasn't correct as well, too. So.
Yeah. See, got a lot of thoughts about this one.
I'm just listening. I'm enjoying.
I can tell that she's enjoying it too.
Right.
Like, she's so present right now. I keep going because that's something deep for me, and I'm gonna figure out how to do. Like, I want us to grow as Black people. Like, I don't believe that it's never like that. It's not possible because one, I don't think that injustices are gonna ever stop. Like, you know, Sierra and I, we oftentimes we talk about exposure, right? Like, exposure allows you to grow and all those other things. And I think about it from a spiritual standpoint, but I also think about like rich experiences. And when I say rich experiences, I'm not talking about like money or any of those other things. Like Sierra and I were walking the other day and we were talking about like, we've gotten an opportunity to travel different places. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times when people say experiences, they think about like, oh, going to a nice island or being able to see the world. And that's not what experience is about. Like we were talking about like, I visited Congo before. This same president has been in office for I don't know how many years. And every time they try to like put that man out of office, like, baby, he cuts up. Like, no, seriously, like he killed children, like families. Like it turns into like a mask. A
massacre.
Yeah, it does. Like, and when you think about like, I think that we think about privilege in a very limited capacity because there ain't no way I'm giving up my passport to go to Africa. I'm not. I don't care if it's Seychelles, whatever. I am not giving up my passport to go to Africa, okay? I am a Black American. Okay. And this is where I'm not joking because I do like if I can vote if I want to. Like Trump, I don't care how long you think you're gonna stay in the office. Like we have the power, the ability to get your ass out. Like go to Congo.
Yeah.
He ain't going. I mean, he is not going anywhere. Like it was mind blowing for me honestly because I'm like, this is crazy. Like we have a system in place in America where you can be impeached. Like, and I know that people like, for example, like with Trump, right? You're like, oh, this would never happen if this was Obama. But what if Trump was in this office for the next 20, 25, 30 years? Yeah. Like, that's not happening over here. Like, it's just not. You know, another thing I think about is I know, like, when America goes into these other countries and, like, invade, like, for whatever they say they doing over there. I don't know.
Whatever they say they doing.
I don't know what they're, I still don't understand wars, just being honest. And at this point, I don't really care to understand. Right. But with knowing people that have uprooted their homes and moved here, it's like a traumatic experience. Like I think about the one person that comes to my mind and I remember him telling me like the war, like, cause you know, at some point, like, depending on what you see, right? You think like when you hear like Iraqis or you think terrorists, right? Like all of them don't trust the kids, like, cause that's how when we used to travel. I'm just telling the truth. When we used to
travel,
that's
what you think, yeah.
That's what you think. I'd be like, do not like. I just feel. Then I'd be like, do not look at them kids. Them kids are not innocent. I'd be like, no.
But that is what media does to us. That is what media does.
That's what I'm going back to these rich experiences because, you know, it's like the God, and you right. Anytime something in your mind would tell you, like, don't trust a child, like, it just really makes you think. When I think about, like, the relationships that I have with, like, people within other cultures, like when I can remember listening to like this one person's story, like from Iraqi, and listening to him like losing his brother. Like when he found his brother, he found a bullet in his head. And when you get to know their family, it's like they didn't deserve that. Like, and they had to uproot their entire family. To me, it's no different from the tragedies that happen back here in America. But when we start to internalize all of that stuff, you can't step outside. And now I remember, I'm gonna move on after this, but we had went to, where were we? In Romania. And I had thought them kids, them kids with those flowers were so cute, and they tried to steal my damn cell.
But you won't saying, look at those kids.
Exactly. Right.
You won't saying, watch them kids.
I won't. But
those were the kids that we should have been watching.
Exactly, the ones you least expect.
Because they were pickpockets. So I'm like, what you doing? And then I was like, them kids say remember because it caught me off guard.
Right.
But it's the judgments that we make. And I go back to like rich experiences have nothing to do with like money and like I don't know, like these fancy trips. It's being able to immerse yourself in other people's worlds, like
Right.
seeing how we're truly interconnected. And I think that when we're truly interconnected, we can see how God like plays into everybody's life.
Mhm.
Like that's what I said all that to say that. Y'all know how.
You know, they have a scripture that says a person may think that his own ways are right. I think I posted this the other week.
Mm-hmm.
But God weighs the heart. And I think if we live by that.
Wait, say that again.
A person may think his own ways are right,
Mm-hmm.
but a person weighs the heart.
A person weighs the heart.
A person may think that his own ways are right,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But God weighs the heart. The Lord weighs the heart. Meaning that even what you said with judgment, we may think that our ways are right and to judge people, to feel like we have a say-so on what they should do and what they shouldn't. Or if they're, like she said, or favor or no favor, right? But he's going to weigh you at the end of the day in your core in what you believe in, despite what we may see as that, around us. So acts of the flesh versus acts of the spirit. Like I think I live my life at this point knowing that am I being more like him, right? Love, compassion, kindness,
Mm-hmm.
self-control. And I think if a lot of people do that, it wouldn't always be so much confusion in a sense of,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that we do act in the flesh a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Of course.
which in turn,
She calling them fruits, y'all. That's what I looked at the fruits the other day and looked at all of them and like, where do I feel really confident at? I'll be honest. There are self-control is one, right? Is discipline is discipline one?
Mhm. And then love, kindness, compassion.
Self-control and discipline. I'm not there yet.
Mm.
Like, because when I think about it, because I'm gonna start back training with Jackie in June.
Mhm.
And I think about it from even that standpoint. When you start to like, even like your physical health too, like I do not want to, like I understand that God gives you the discipline, but I just don't want to. I'm being, I just don't want to. I don't, the discipline that it takes to get up consistently every morning. But I also realize that God will place people in your life that will give you the accountability that you need, which goes to like the professionals that we have. I just think that, going back to what you said, understanding that we all have different experiences, so it's easy for people to project
Mhm.
like their ways of being and it sound like truth.
Mhm.
And it's hard to separate that if you're not grounded in something.
Can we talk about why they don't want to work out, you guys? Because I need to talk about spiritual growth. But with spiritual growth also means taking care of your temple.
Okay.
Okay, so can we talk about why Quill or Sierra does not want to work out? What they work out, don't get me wrong, but they love to do what makes them feel comfortable.
Right.
They don't like being
in this
uncomfortable.
season.
But tomorrow's not promised.
Right. So if I go to a workout.
She said, wait.
Die at the workout. I don't want to die at the workout.
Or die immediately after the workout, then what was that for?
What was that about? That's not how I plan on living my last day.
Thanks for that reminder, Jackie.
Kill you. She gets so much done in 30 minutes. She would literally kill you. And even when I was like heavier than what I am now, I don't mind lifting weights. Like I like to like go hard, but I'm like, I guess my question for you would be, why it got to be so hard though? Like why it got to be so hard? Like is there a such thing as like,
you know how
transitioning a person into it? Like Jackie immediately go to, all right, get them 30 pounds. Jackie, my arms cannot do 30
Quill
pounds.
is crazy. Don't listen to anything she's saying.
She's real strong, by the way.
But first of all, she's really strong, and also it's about progress, right? Progressive overload.
That's the problem with y'all black people. Y'all be thinking
no.
people strong.
But then in life, let's talk about this. So if God knew that you already passed this test, why am I giving you the same test? We could bring that to
Jackie, you didn't even test me on the other test
we
yet.
can bring that to workout or life. He's not going to keep giving you that same test after you pass it. I'm not going to keep giving you the same 10-pound dumbbells after you pass that test. Now, for us to be stretched.
But you don't have to go from
Right,
10.
stretch.
For us to
No.
be stretched, like you said earlier.
Do
have
you
be
need to
able
go from 10 to 50?
Y'all, I'm not gonna lie, Qual is crazy. I've never went from 10 to 50. Now, no, when I met Qual, she was already working out. So she really didn't even have to start with like 10 pounds. If anything, I progressed 5 to 10 pounds, but to them it seems very hard. When you start adding tempo and you start adding pauses and you start, now go run here and come back and do this. Now that's what makes it seem hard. But you can lift the weight. There's not a weight that you haven't lifted that I've given you. That means you're ready for it. Maybe not here, but you're ready for it with this journey because you already made it to the next level.
Well, I'm going to tell you right
you
now,
don't
like,
stay at the level that
for
you're
all the times that you have gotten me, this was a little stable. It is not there at all today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just giving you like a warning. Like, the thought of lifting a weight like makes me sick stomach today. And that is, I do not know. I do not know because I will do what she asked me to do.
Yeah.
Right.
But today, I'm telling you, there is a lot of resistance. I just cannot, like, my mind is blocked on, like, I want to be able to sit on the toilet, like, peacefully.
Mhm.
But you're already scheduled though, right?
Yeah, and I need to go ahead and pay. Like, that's the type of accountability that I need at this point because I just don't want to go through the pain. But it's the same with life, like what you're saying with life. There are some areas in life where we were like, I do not want to experience the pain. And from a physical standpoint, that is where I am in this season. I do, and that's total opposite of how I've been. Even at my heaviest, I'm okay. Even if I ain't lost a pound, I still do it. But this season, So I'm just giving you a heads up. I ain't got much to talk about either. So this is be the best time for me to like really just get in there and focus.
She says that, y'all, and we'll still talk. But she's still gonna get the work done.
Yeah, she somehow, and then she wants you to talk. Like, she love the conversations too.
Yeah.
She wants you to talk and still like,
But
all
go ahead
right,
and get the 25 pounds up while you and do your squats while we're having this conversation.
Oh man.
yeah, girl.
Girl, you gotta count.
Go back to what you were saying, Jackie, about like the life part about being stretched, because I do think like developmentally, as we continue to age, right, there are functions that are just going to decline anyway. So what you bring to people's lives from that standpoint, it continues to like strengthen us in ways that we don't necessarily know.
Mm-hmm. So you're talking about the basic qualities of life, or in general?
In general.
Okay, but also I think that, like I was talking about before, working out, even though it seems very physical, and I know we're laughing, we talk about like being sore and all those different things. Also mentally though, and spiritually, it's strengthening you as well, because it's saying that.
How
for me
so
to
spiritually?
Because if I'm going to continue to do this work, right?
Uh-huh.
I need a temple though. My soul can't house itself. If you think about it, right?
You got to explain that to me. You know, sometimes
You
I'm
get
a
it,
little
see?
slow.
Yeah.
Right.
You get it.
And so like.
Yeah, our temple is our body.
I mean,
and our
I
soul
get
can't
that.
house
Mhm.
itself.
But do that mean you need to be sore and stuff?
It doesn't have.
Well, I mean, you need to build your
but you need to
temple,
build
right?
Your temple in order to have longevity, right? So the quote that we know today, and the age you are now,
Mm-hmm.
and if you didn't work out at all,
Mm-hmm.
correct? And maybe let's say diseases like heart disease, diabetes, like cholesterol, like different things that could occur
Mm-hmm.
that could probably cut your lifespan in half. But you have so much work to do, and I think about that with fitness and with my job that I have now. As long as I can keep inspiring, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's bigger than just me. It's bigger than this just journey of I want to look like this. No, this is what keeps me going, because if anyone's just idle mentally and you're not putting anything out but just taking everything in, that also is detrimental as well, right? And so knowing that Core has so much knowledge to give, Sierra as well, so much knowledge to keep to give. We want one temple to be able healthy to be able to do that, not us laying in the hospital bed trying to coach people. You know, baby, you do this, but I'm trying to breathe through it too. Like, you know, like, so that's what I mean. Like, it's so much deeper.
Or I just can't show up today because my health.
Right.
Exactly. So
I mean, when you put it from that when you put it, because, you know, we all have gifts, right?
Mhm.
Like, how you take care of your temple could affect the way that you show up in terms of like sharing whatever your gift is with the world. You know, I just thought about like my dad, for example, hearing him yesterday say like, I feel like I'm getting my energy back. I can start like, I want to go out there and start hustling again, working on cars, right? Like temple. It goes back to exactly what you're talking about. So no, I get that, but I'm just giving you a heads up that I have to work on my mind from. I have to, because you already know what you're walking. It's kind of like what we were talking about in
the effort.
The effort. It's like the effort, like the mental energy that it takes. I can get up, but like to be present, I guess. Like that, this because you know, like as I lose weight and all of that stuff, like y'all know I'm on that Wegovy shot, and I don't mind saying it, but it's like I'm still learning discipline with that too, because that shot does not allow you to just eat trash. Mm-hmm. Like even on the days when I'm like, oh, my stomach is hurt. Like, and you down for 24 hours. Mm-hmm. So what the conscious part comes back and like, Quell, you can use this shot all day long, but like, do you want to be sick because you decided to go get a patty melt from Whataburger? Mm-hmm. Like it just won't allow them. That's why I say like the self-control and the discipline. Like, how do you learn to be present? How do you learn to be like present? Like, so from an eating standpoint, like, you start listening to yourself when your body says that I'm full, no matter what you're eating, right? You start to say, okay, I'm good. I feel satisfied. And I think like that's something in in scripture too about that as well. And I think it's the same thing with working out, because I'm ready to get it done with. Like, what we doing today? Just what 4 to 5 exercises you got for us to do in 30 minutes with all these different sets? And my mind is thinking about leaving. And I think that, like, when I talk about like developing holistically, it's like, how do you learn to be present with each set? And that, to me, that's my challenge. Mm-hmm. Like,
I think if you apply.
Wow. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Jackie.
No, go with what you were gonna say.
I don't want to be present with each set.
But how beautiful is it to be present? Like I feel like it's another part of life, like learning to be present with like the tough moments too. And that's what I'm saying. Like, because there's I feel so good in like just every area of my life, with the exception of that area. Like, to bring this into that part, I have to be present, like feel the burn, feel the pain. And I do not want to experience that. Like,
go get it, boo. It's coming soon in June.
It all ties in though.
That's what I mean. It really does. Like,
really. And everything you're saying and with how y'all apply y'all's life, it ties into fitness.
Because how you do anything is how you do everything.
Exactly.
And so to be honest, I've been let me go ahead and get this working and then get out and just move on about my business. But I think it's like it's falling in love with like the process of it. It's no different from like it's no different from the journey. And that's like, I want that. Like,
I think you can fall in love with the journey, but not just be like, ooh, that burns, but that feels so good. Ooh, that burns.
I'm not saying that, but just like,
no.
I guess moving away from the complaining, I guess, like, when I say like, we talk about victimhood all the time, like, why can't that be an aspect of the physical health? Like, I'm at that point in my life where I want all of it to kind of come together in that sense, and not like this be the thing that like, I gotta do it, like, versus like, I really want to do this because it supports me on so many other levels on my life. Like, and I think that's why I really am dreading it, because in some ways it's like, if I'm doing all this over here, and then I get over here and I'm complaining, like, Jackie's so hard, this, like, it doesn't support like how
you show up in other areas.
Yeah, and that's like, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I feel. So I don't know, maybe it's less about the soreness, but it reminds me of an area that I haven't necessarily grown in, and it's not like the lift, because I can lift the weights. That ain't the problem.
The soreness is the growth, right?
What?
The soreness is the growth.
I mean,
you know, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be there.
It all works out for your good, regardless.
Right.
So you just show up.
There you go.
I tell my clients, show up.
But you know, I want to show up and not thinking about like that it's hard, because it's no different from any other area of
sometimes
like.
you may, but until you get there, you just continue to show up. you continue to follow, you continue to walk, and then.
But I hope you hearing like this journey of my life of where I'm
I hear you.
like.
But I'm gonna continue to do my part, and you have to show up.
I guess this is what will help me. Jackie, do you get sore still today?
Girl, cause she be pushing. She go from 200 pounds to 500 pounds. Do you follow her on Instagram? In chucks, girl, in chucks. She be lifting 500 pounds in her.
You lift
chucks.
500 pounds
In chucks and something. Oh, girl, she done
crazy.
She doing barefoot now. I seen her barefoot the other day on Instagram. No shoes on.
Ability. Cool.
Girl, I need my shoes on to support my ankles.
Really, because you really don't.
I don't know. That's what my mind tells me today. But I saw her lifting a lot of weight. It looked like a whole lot of weight with no shoes on.
Okay, now, Jackie.
I be paying attention. I be paying attention because every time I look at it, it's like every time I see it, it's like a reminder, like I need that in my life to support these other areas.
That was a good question, though. Do you still get sore today? Meaning what?
Like your body.
Exactly.
She better.
Exactly, but that's good. See, because also mean that you can feel like we have everything figured out. And y'all could look at me like, dang, this fitness thing she has figured out, but I always have room to grow anyway.
Right.
And
that's what we wanted to hear.
That happens with life and with people. Yeah, I'm not exempt
Okay.
to soreness or pain just because I feel like I've made it in everybody's head to a certain level.
I just wanted...
It's another threshold at that point.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know, like, could I look forward to one day not feeling the soreness and pain?
That's what I'm saying, though. The soreness and pain doesn't, like, listening to her, it's you start to enjoy the benefits that all of these things bring to your life. Like, that's where I really want to. She not thinking about the soreness.
Yeah.
Like, in all these other areas, I'm not thinking about how hard life is going to be or the challenges that I'm going to be presented with, because I'm going to be good. Like, that's what I'm trying to. That's what I'm trying to get to.
And also, everything doesn't have to be about sore and pain, but you still growing.
But that's what we like.
Right,
to
It don't always have to be.
Right.
But when you meet another threshold that requires another level, you may be, because your body's not used to that.
Right.
We get ready to wrap up in a second, but
pain, yeah.
what do you have in mind? Like,
as far as what?
Like, yeah, what do you have in mind?
Well, I would like Sierra and Quill to join together as one. I think that we're stronger together.
Amen.
Put this on there so that you remember.
We be
I think that we're stronger together.
we talk a lot, Jackie. It's best for her.
I talked about you real bad. I talk about like your heart from a real good place, but work out. I talk about you real bad.
If I could get them together, y'all, in a small group, that would
I have
be
talked
very
about
happy.
you so bad. It's gonna be real hard to get her to come.
But you've seen me for years now.
Yeah, and I be running.
I have talked about you real bad.
I had access to Jackie for like no cost. She was coming to my work to train, and I was like, "Hey, Jackie, bye, Jackie."
Men down in there, like it got to the point where the men would be in there in her boot camp session and did not participate in her boot camp. But they just did their own thing. They thought she was doing too much. Like
But you know, I do want the body. I do want the body to come with that.
Okay, so
but I'm being stretched in so many ways, Lord.
I don't really feel like I'm being stretched. I feel like this is the one area where I'm not being stretched anymore at all.
Minutes. And when you start and you look back, you're like, dang, I'm glad I started. But you would never know till you start. Mm-hmm. You can't keep running for him.
So what you have?
I mean, I had an idea on when I would stop.
Full body.
But hold on. So, because I was like 200 and some pounds. Mm-hmm. I'm 170 today. Like, what I'm trying to say, look at my what I'm trying to say is like, don't punish me for 200 versus 170. You know what I'm trying to say?
No.
200 plus. Like,
you know.
Like, does it I guess what does the intensity, like, do you look at me differently because you're like, Quill is like smaller, or will it still be like what I'm like? That's what I'm trying to understand. Like, I think the other day I'm like, she gonna really, really go in. She like, you lost some weight.
No, that doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter. Okay.
Because you haven't been with me.
Okay.
Right? Okay. But I'm not gonna go easy on you because you feel like I shouldn't either.
Okay.
Right? So you can.
But my back has been hurt.
Really? I have clients who have knee problems, back problems.
Girl, she don't give a
body
damn.
problems,
You need to
and
advocate for yourself.
Advocate for
You got to
yourself.
advocate for yourself because she don't care about your knees, your back, or your nothing. Like Crystal, I had to tell you, Crystal was on the podcast. I like Crystal. You're actually like damn what Jackie said. Like you're actually in pain. You need to say something.
But that's part of the process. That's part of the process.
No, to where she could have been out to where her temple, she can't even think about her temple no more. Like Crystal, Jackie does not give a damn. Like I actually had this conversation with Crystal. Jackie does not care. You need to speak up.
She does care.
Yes.
No, she does not.
Yes.
She does care.
She don't want you injured, but Jackie hear excuses though. Like that's the first thing
All jokes aside,
Jackie hear
unless you have a doctor's
excuses.
note about something like that's like people like to if people aren't
I'm
comfortable,
gonna get
they'll
me a
make
doctor
no, please
for
do.
my back. Like,
Because honestly, unless I say MRI with a torn ACL or LCL meniscus or anything, or I have a disc that is not in the correct place, then at this point I feel like you're uncomfortable because it's sore, it hurts, but it doesn't mean you're broken down.
I feel the same way too when people.
I agree
Like,
because you will but if it's serious, you'll take the necessary steps to get a doctor's note.
No, I agree because even
That's
when I'm
different.
coaching people, right, and if they like,
They'll
tell me
cry.
they had like depression or whatever, I'm like, were you diagnosed? So it's the same in our line of work, but that's what them people need to advocate for themselves too because that's not what I hear. Like you came here to get this work, like let's get to work, and now you feel the same way. Yeah, we can sit here and talk all day. Sierra, can you close us out?
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for tuning in to the Success is Complicated show. Thank you for coming on, Jackie.
Thank you guys for having me.
We will subscribe at Success is Complicated. Goodbye.
All right, we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.